First, a bit about me. I'm a hacker. I've taken multiple certifications to do so, to become a hacker. I had the hacker mindset before that. If you want to go the same way, please take the latter. It's fun. The OSCP, Offensive Security Certified Professional. Great fun. 24 hours you have. You don't have to sleep within these 24 hours. You need to hack 5 machines, do some buffer overflows, stuff like that. After which you have another 24 hours to create a report. So great documentation is important a lot. I love the security community, which is one of the parts that I love Elastic as well. I came into Elastic through the community. I've held a bunch of meetups for Elastic, with Elastic, just by myself, because I'm a member of multiple organizations, this one being the OWASP. I'm a chapter lead for my local city, also member of First TLP, and something called IT-branchen, Danish. It's for the Danish IT industry. That's about me. Then a bit about Conscia. We are a IT service provider. We do networking a lot. We create networks, we create data centers, we design them, implement them, support them afterwards. And then the middle part, cybersecurity, of course, that's me. We used to be a Cisco partner, almost, that's the only partner we were. But we took on Palo Alto, Microsoft, VMware, AWS as well. I love them all. That didn't click. There it is. We are in 6 different countries. The photo in the bottom right, that's our customers' installations. It's not a Kibana photo, unfortunately. It's probably a Power BI or something like that. But that's our customers' installation. So even though I'm from Conscia, Denmark, our installations are global. So the challenge we wanted to solve, and why we got into Elastic as a company, is that we wanted to support our customers. We have always sold security products from various vendors, as you saw, but we wanted to support them in managing the alerts, doing detection and response, helping them with the forensics as well. So Elastic was the best tool to get started. We started open source, and then it became the basic license. We wanted to do more, so now we are on the enterprise license. Started on-prem, now we are Elastic Cloud only. So that's why. I love this one. Create once, use many times. Also, Conscia is an Elastic MSSP, Managed Security Services Provider. So every time I create a thing once, I need to use it many times. You don't have to be an MSSP to do just that. You can create a script, make it, do more automation stuff, even if you're only a single company. You don't have to be an MSSP, of course. So that's the lazy part about the lazy hacker. Being lazy, I create stuff once, make use of it many times. And then the clicker. All right, just some simple architecture to make you understand what we do. I'll start to the right. This is the Conscia part of it. So we have a monitoring cluster to monitor the health of all of our customer clusters. We also have some APM in there for our threat intelligence platform. We have a CM cluster to test CM alerts, to back test it. We install all the CM alerts in the customer clusters itself, pull them from there with our SOAR tool. But we can test all the data from all of our customers at once using this CM cluster with a cross-cluster search, of course. And then we have a CTI cluster as well, where we push MISP CTI, we push our own CTI, and what I'm going to show you today also is how to generate CTI from the dataset available. That's on the right side. You can put all of this in one single cluster. We didn't. You could. On the left side, we have customers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so forth. Every customer has their own Elasticsearch cluster and their own Kibana. We can scale up, scale down as needed. We usually start out using the customer's security product. It could be Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, it could be Cisco Secure Endpoint, whatever it is. Some EDR tool is the simplest way to go, because they already push the alerts, the events to the cloud. So we install Beats or an Elastic agent on a Fargate container, because we love AWS as well. And we pull these alerts in. It's the simplest way to go, simplest way to start, on-ramping the customer. Going from there, of course, at some point an event will come, an alert, and we will need to investigate more. So we will need telemetry, metrics, data, logs. So we will usually install the Elastic agent using the Elastic Defend, it's called now, from 8.5, Elastic Defend integration. So we will get all the necessary logs to investigate, to do forensics. And then going from there, we will exchange this Fargate container, because now we actually need on-prem data as well. So installing an on-prem server with the Elastic agent one more time, installing the integrations that we need, so we can get on-premise syslog from firewalls and so forth. So this is how it looks, and the larger picture is like this. Top right, we have security products for any customer. They will deliver logs, pointing left, to the customer's own Elastic cluster. Being a part of the Conscia Elastic Cloud, we will take in these alerts, this data, we'll monitor it, do our investigations. From this, we can generate our own threat intelligence that we push to a pipeline we have in AWS, which is then again fetched by the security products. So this is a feedback loop of sorts. And now I will go over to how a hacker can use data. So simple example, DHCP logs. It seems simple. Yeah, you get I want a new IP lease request, or you get a renew request for the same IP lease. The clicker works sometimes. All right, this is difficult to see. You can see the search query for Microsoft DHCP logs. I only show new requests and renew requests for the DHCP leases. Every single host is split into rows. So if you look at the two top ones, you have the new request, and then just after that, we have 3 renew requests. Does it make sense? Yes? All right. What can I get from this? Because I have the hacker mindset. From this view, I see 2 red lines. So apparently, the host 104 and 103 send out more renew requests than the other hosts. That could be an issue on the host itself. It could be an issue in the network. That's one thing to take away. And then I need to click twice. Looking at a single host, I can see from this when the user actually meets in on work, starts up the computer, it will make a new request around 7 o'clock, and then a renew request just after that. The next one, it takes 4 hours. So why is it 4 hours? Looking at the protocol for DHCP, we know that the first renew event should be after 50% of the lease time. So from this, I can also get that the lease time is 8 hours, because the first renew is after 4. So from a simple log, I could get 3 things. And then the other example, a bit more complicated. You can actually do this having a single cluster itself, as long as you have multiple data sources. What I wanted to do here is looking at all of my customer base that has Cisco Umbrella. Cisco Umbrella is a DNS tool with reputation on it. So if a customer wants to look up something malicious, it will be blocked by Cisco Umbrella. I will get the log. I'll know this domain name is blocked because it's malicious of some sorts. I wanted to take all of these reputation logs, put them into my CTI cluster, and deliver them to the same customers, other clusters, but in an anonymized form. So it doesn't have the customer name, it doesn't know anything about IP addresses from localhost and stuff like that. So with this data set on the CTI cluster, I can actually deliver it as CM alerts for firewall logs who are domain aware, Infoblox DNS, Microsoft DNS. So I'm going to show you rather technical how this can be done. I used a transform called the pivot transform on the CTI cluster. From there, I picked the data view. The first star is look at all of the cross-cluster search connections, which is all the customer clusters. Look at all the logs in there. I had to filter it down. This is JSON. It's technical. I hope you can read it. I'm looking at the data set for Cisco Umbrella logs. I'm filtering only for the malicious things like malware, crypto mining. And now it's gone. It wasn't supposed to be gone. Something's not working. Well, I wanted to scroll down the bottom to show you that I excluded some customer-specific things like block lists and allow lists. Any customer can block something, put it on the block list in Umbrella. I would not like to block whatever this single customer is blocking on all the other clusters. So I excluded those. Then we have the runtime fields. Because I need to use this data in the intelligence dashboard, which came in 8.5, I need to use it for the threat match CM rules. It needs to have these fields, some of the fields. Now, let's see if we can have the animations. So to generate the correct runtime fields, I'll emit a word. So event category, it needs the keyword of threat to work. It's an indicator, it's an enrichment. To describe what this is, I took the raw value from Cisco Umbrella, put it in the threat indicator description, and now we'll see animations are gone. That's great. Moving on from there. So now I generated the runtime fields. This doesn't mean that we can actually see them. I need to group by them. And of course, if I emit threat, it's always going to be threat, so it's always the same. So I group by these fields that I just generated. I also make some aggregations. The first time I saw this DNS lookup being blocked by any Umbrella instance on any customer, and the last time, I would like to know that. When is it first seen? When is it last seen? How many times did I see it within this time frame? So we can generate that with aggregations. All right, okay. Some of the animations do work. I was limited today. They told me I need to make between 8 and 10 slides. I cannot do that. So I created animations instead, billions of animations. You can see some of them. That's good. So this is the transform preview from this data. So we can see we've got the event category called threat. We got the data set as we wanted, description as well, and then animation. No. How many times should I click? No animations. I wanted to show you the first scene and the last scene and the aggregate number of how many times I saw it, the sightings. You couldn't see that. So if we have this in the preview, how can we use it? There's two ways of using this transformed data from within the CTI cluster itself. This is the first. Create a CM rule at the customer CM. Looking at, if you look at the indicator index pattern, it's CTI colon logs something TI. The CTI colon is the name for my CTI cluster. So the customers can query my cluster. This is why we have three clusters with all these data and not one on my side. So they can query this CTI, they can get an alert, and we will pull it into the SOAR platform, manage the alert. The next way of doing it is creating this CM alert on the CTI cluster itself. So now, instead of looking at another cluster's threat intelligence, I look at my own threat intelligence, the indicator pattern just called logs-TI umbrella. But I compare this to all of the customer cluster's data. So if you look at the index pattern, it has this star again. So look at all of the customer's data and match it to the umbrella threat that we just generated over the last 30 days. This transform will run every 10 minutes, so it's new data. Yep, continuously. And then this clicker is not well. Hello? Yep. All right, and this is the result. So I put in this CM rule in the CTI cluster. So these are actually the hits over how many minutes is it? 45 minutes. And it's from multiple different data sources, Cisco Firepower, Firewall, Infoblocks. And this is from more than 2 customers. I, of course, obfuscated or removed the customer name. But what can I get from this? You see it says allowed, especially on the FTD logs. It's a connection, it ended, and it was allowed. So how can we use this information? When I know I'm getting the CTI cluster is over here, where we monitor stuff. When I get this information that something has a bad reputation, it has been allowed, I can put it into our threat intelligence platform, and I can push it out towards the pipeline, and I can block it at all of our customers at once. Single customer, it's up for me to decide. So I can definitely use this. Also, when we see this picture, this is, of course, a feedback loop. But I have another one. This threat intelligence platform is, I'm monitoring this with APM. I'm also using APM in AWS. It's called, I'm using it for Lambda scripts, especially. So I can actually see what works and what doesn't. So I'm pulling in the logs from AWS, the CloudFront content delivery network where we deliver those threat intel. And this is what we get out. Because that's also statistics, that's good. So over 14 days, 112 consumers, unique IPs, fetched these lists, any of our lists. 47 organizations, over 20 countries. And we primarily deliver this to Denmark, as per my knowledge. These are our free lists. We have a combined IP list with both IPv4 and IPv6. We have one of each. 75 different IPs pulled the domain list, so that's being used. Click. 41% of fetches first from Denmark. Netherlands as well, 13%. So it is being used. I could have shown the organization and organizational names, but I didn't. We can look at the TLS versions and ciphers as well from whoever fetches these lists from AWS, CloudFront. And the consumption. Yeah, ignore it says by source. This is total. So over 14 days, we deliver almost 9 gigabytes of small text files to block something in a firewall or an EDR product or wherever. So this is fun data playing around with. The top reasons, it wasn't 5, it was 3. Because I'm lazy, I would like to automate. I don't like doing things twice, it doesn't make sense. I like to create feedback loops. I'm very analytical of mind, of course, so I would like to know what works. I know I'm doing an action, I would like to know if it works. And if you hire a hacker, you will have continuous optimization within security. We cannot stop. I'm the one creating absolutely most security tickets in our internal system. Even though I'm not hired to test ourselves, I just cannot help myself. So what's next? Next is looking at more reputation from more data sources, finding out ways to expand the use of the current data we have, because why not? We have it, it's free. Yeah, and that's it. That's it for me. Hopefully, if I click. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Dennis. And I'm actually a hacker myself, so I've taken out all your billions of animations to keep it short.
Yeah, I saw
But we now have a lot of time for questions.
Yep.
So if you have a question for Dennis, please raise your hands. We'll get a microphone to you and we can discuss the question. Anyone? Don't be shy. We won't bite. Yes,
Yep.
at the back of the room.
Thanks very much for your presentation. That was really good. In terms of reputation,
Yeah.
What sort of indicators do you consume that you use to assess reputation? Is it purely on the basis of Cisco said it was bad, so we think it's bad? Or like, there's a combination of things, how do you form that assessment?
It becomes a combination of things. I, of course, ingest it from Umbrella, this specific reputation. But I need to decide, is it malicious enough to push it out the pipeline and block it everywhere? So I take in other sources for that, from our MISP instances that we synchronize with partners and open source and closed source, whatever you find out there. So yeah, before we deploy it, we need to make a decision. Is it malicious enough? Does that answer your question? Almost.
Do you have a repeat question? Otherwise, we're going to get the mic back to you. So, do you have a follow-on question on this question, or did he answer
Or
your...
else you find me afterwards.
Yeah. Do we have any other questions from the audience? No? Then I want a big applause for Dennis.
Thank you.